I'm Darren, Tasha's Promotions, put bands on in Scunthorpe.
I'm Mark Sipcock, I run Raucous Events, which is a national events company running club nights, alternative events.
Oh, I'm Edgar Jones, a musician from Liverpool.
When you started out, you know, what was it like and what did you do to kind of, you know, start
Very
making
different
music?
time. It was the late 80s when I broke through. I got a job at age 18 playing bass for Ian McCullough, who just left Echo and the Bunnymen. There was a very different world then. There were a bunch of brats. It's very different making your way in now. I'm now an independent artist working with the Scout and Key label from Liverpool. And yeah, it's a very different world now. It's a much tougher world. You have to be really on it and focus your dreams and where you're going with them. In this day and age, we should, I suppose, in a way, we have the benefits of a kind of welfare state. Back when I was starting out, I was into sort of American garage punk music from the 60s, rare bands like Chocolate Watch Bands, Slam Devils, you know. And I used to go to the record shops and see their albums for £100, you know, and I used to think, oh, I wish the Stairs album could be next to that. And it is now. Our album's rare and worth £100. You know, when you go out there, focus your dreams, be careful what you wish for.
For example, I book from the ground up everything from your local showcase, where we'll book 4 or 5 local bands within, let's say, pop punk, metal, hard, or kind of genres, which is what we specialise in. And they'll all bring 20 people each, we'll have 100 people in, and people will get to learn each other's band, each other's music within the very grassroots scene, all the way into working with bands like Shikari and The Ghost Inside. Crazy time over the last year. I basically started Raucous because I was sick of going to nights which I think were under parlours and entertainment on. You just basically a guy in the corner playing music, and that was it. There was no kind of interaction or anything to that effect. Therefore, built my brand around kind of that public interaction with the branding, and kind of built it from like the ground up, really.
How do you go about choosing like headliners for the nights?
That's a tough one, that. If it feels right, you kind of know when it feels right. If it don't feel right, well, maybe we'll not do it. If it feels right, we'll push. It's like with Cabbage, when we first put them on, everyone's heard of Cabbage, right? When we first put them on, there was, I think we had about 200 people in, and then the next time we had them on, it sold out 2 months before it. It's good to watch these bands when they start, and then to see them move on, and then you see them selling out arenas. In fact, we had Catfish and the Bottlemen on years ago supporting a band called Orphan Boy, and now they're headlining festivals. Yeah. Same with Blossoms, we had them on 2 years ago, and they've just sold out Casterfield Bowl. It's just such a great feeling when that happens as a promoter. You can use it on your feeds every time to sell gigs.
Well, I think that's one thing that's changed in the industry. You could just say, I'm in a band back in the 80s or 90s. Now you've got to be prepared to be in several bands, do full band performances of what you do acoustic performances of what you do. Just go out there and craft, really.
I've got a few shows on in here myself. And I think the most important thing is that everybody works together. Even if you see this as a competing band or a competing business or a competing promotion company, etc., I think it's important that you all bounce off each other. Even if it's just a simple communication of, I've got a gig, then go clash with it and things to that effect. And everybody working together, so there's more to the alternative scene than just music. You've got things like tattoo shops, you've got things like record shops, you've got skate shops, everything that's kind of connected to what I'd say is the alternative scene. So everything from hip-hop, indie, rock, punk, metal, there's so many different variants of it. It's not necessarily what you're into, however, if you see something that's going on locally, you know people that might be interested in that, tell them about it, because at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt you. And if you can build a scene and everybody work together, and if it's a load of people that are passionate or something, some of the best gigs I've ever been at have been mixed bill gigs.
Sometimes it's really good to deal with a band. It's also really nice to deal with a band that's got a great manager, that's passionate about the band, that wants them to come and play these gigs. I find most of the troubles with agents that can sometimes just ask for a little bit unrealistic price on the band if they're just supporting, and it prices you out a lot of the time. where a decent manager knows what's good for his band, and you can usually work a deal that's doable for the night.
Effectively, what we did is we flyered everywhere. Just go to, I don't know, the library and print out 100 pages with what you are and put them in music shops everywhere. Start with a Facebook page. It was MySpace back in the day for us. And just get that everywhere. Put, I don't know, £10 a week on Facebook advertising. Put some of your own music on. Have you got anything recorded? Yeah, just get them all on there. Yeah. Could you afford £10 a week, for example, right? Shove that on your gift thing, because that's probably going to reach, if you set it to, I don't know, 30-mile radius within the genres that your music is, tag, let's say, 25, 30 bands that you're influenced by and people can relate to your music, and just get your name out. Because if you've got a music page with, let's say, I don't know, 2,000 people on it, that's going to attract promoters' attention, isn't it? So it's about a little bit of building, a little bit of give, get your friends sharing it, even if they don't like your music. Everybody's got a couple hundred friends on Facebook, haven't they? If you can get 10% of them to share it, they've all got a couple hundred friends on Facebook. And if, let's say, one or two of them then share it, it becomes the factor of a bit of a chain reaction, and you're going to get some followers to that. If you can then interact with your followers, posting daft stuff on your Facebook page, getting people interacting with your page, even if it's not necessarily with your music, putting daft memes up that could relate to what you're doing. And then just build a name for yourself, mate. At the end of the day, it's all in the power's in your hands then. And if a promoter, events manager, promotion company, whatever you want to call it, can then see that you're hard working and you're willing, you are passionate about what you are doing,
paper ticket in hand, a pair of iron wings took me to another land, took me to another land. Ooh, there's a thick fog hanging. There's a black dog howling in my garden. He went running, green bottle in hand, slumped in his kitchen. Took him to another land, took him to another land. Ooh, there's a thick fog hanging. Ooh, there's a black dog howling in my garden. Ooh, ooh, I went running from faith and fear, but it came coming. Did you think I wouldn't find you here? Did you think I wouldn't find you here? Did you think I wouldn't find you here? You silly little girl. You silly little girl. Thank you.
About running a record label and kind of the pitfalls for it, but also what has been some of the success things for Skelton Key since you set it up?
Well, firstly, you say who would set up a record company or a label. I don't think a lot of people set up and go, I want to do that. That's not something that I've ever thought that would happen. But my experience, and also a lot of people that I spoke to who've successfully set up labels, it's been born out of the fact that out of necessity sometimes, where they were a little bit like I was, disgruntled, if you like, about sort of opportunities that I could get myself personally. And I thought, well, if like a lot of people in the room, if you're giving your life to music, at the very least you want to see it sort of come out and people hear it. So for me specifically, Skeleton Key was born out of a necessity to get music out there, and we see a lot of bands and a lot of artists that we loved, you know, that have made records going back from the 50s, 60s, 70s, who I'm sure in the room, a lot of your favourite bands are not really bands that broke through in a commercial way. So we were mindful of the fact that, you know, there's a lot of artists and records that we felt might not see the light of day, so that gives us our sort of inspiration to do it, as you say, from being on the outside.
Well, how does that resonate with you? You know, you've been, again, had some really great success with Baltic Fleet, and you as a songwriter. You said you worked with the Bunnymen before. Does that DIY, or that do-it-yourself attitude and approach resonate with you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for most people who follow that path, it's kind of a calling. It's a bit of a drug, music. You know, you sort of grow up with this, and you've got no choice but to follow that path. And if you've not got a major label knocking on your door as an artist, then you've got to try and do it yourself, or you give up, and most of us can't just give up like that. So, I mean, when I was at Witness Sixth Form College, like Jane, I was making mixtapes.
Hot bit of talent, Witness Sixth Form.
Yeah, there's three of us, at least, or four of us, John Dolan as well, and many, many more. But I was making mixtapes and selling them to friends for like £2, £3, and that's how I started my sort of independent path, and that went on to get vinyl press and do white labels in the early 20s. And I eventually did my own CD. I created Baltic Fleet when I was in Echo and the Bunnymen on tour, and I knew that you could do it yourself. And I think there's a belief there that you need to have that belief that it's not just down to external forces to make you successful. You can make yourself successful. You can take control. So I put a CD out there. I got it barcoded. I got it mastered.
Did you feel outside of anything? You know, doing that from I guess doing that mixtapes, from coming from Witness Sixth Form. Did you feel outside of anything? Did you feel this is the only way I can do it? I'm a Witness lad, and it's you know, the rest of the world's ignoring me. Or was that not to do with being from Witness? You just felt, well, that's the journey for everyone.
I think that was something to do there. I listened to you and Jane talk about the scene that you had, and that was probably a couple of years before I was in music, and there wasn't really a scene for me. There was a venue, Stories, where we played some gigs, and I think you were the DJ there, or you put the night on, and that was kind of our only outlet.
When you're in the big metropolis, if you live in the city centres, everything's at your doorstep. You know, Witness is maybe 10, 15 miles away from Liverpool, but actually as a round trip you're talking 20 to 30 miles. Heighton's maybe 6 or 7 miles away, so again that's, you know, it's like a 12-mile round trip, etc., or it's a bus journey, or it's a train journey, and you feel like you need to connect with somebody, and if there isn't a scene going on where you are, you have to go to those particular scenes.
Or make one.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, even in Liverpool, there will be a number of different scenes in Liverpool. And I actually think to actually help the bands more, there was sort of more cross-fertilisation between different genres of music and built up bigger scenes. You could develop your fan base even more.
Tell us a bit more about that. What do you mean by that?
What we do in Musicians Against Homelessness, all our gigs, all the proceeds go to help the homeless. So to us, it's more like a festival. So you come to us, and then you might have an indie band, and then so say last year we'd have Indigo Moon were on last year for us, fabulous band, and then but next to them you'd have the Xander and the Peace Pirates, and then you'd have like the Boston Shakers, who are a bit sort of hip hop, sort of grungy, and then you'd have someone like Limerence or someone like that. So when you watch these other styles of other bands, one, you can learn from them. Especially on the songwriting techniques, etc., and the presence and the way they develop themselves. But also, if you become friends with them, they become friends with you, and your friend base and fan base becomes greater.
So the notion.
just the truth. I didn't hate you enough, no. Oh, now I'm calling you out the name. But I guess that's what love, yeah, it must do, it must do, it must do, it must do. Why would you hurt me and bruise me or beat me back or break me out control? Why won't you keep me and bruise me, baby? I need you more.
and Alan McGee, who that era of the music I wasn't really into. I went a bit mainstream in the late 80s, early 90s, and thankfully for yourself and yourself, with the Aeroplanes, got me back into the small band scene, in inverted commas. It was like going back to the Eric's days as a 40-odd-year-old bloke in a sweaty little club, Chocker. It was like, this is what I got into music for. I'd forgotten what that felt like. The stadiums took over, a bit like it did pre-punk, with the massive tours and everyone rebelled against it. But the music industry had changed.
So obviously in the heyday, even like the 80s, 90s, there was a lot of money washing around. So a young band literally could go in and do a few demos and then immediately have people knocking on the door. So it is changed drastically, because effectively bands now have to be, number one, it's a given. You have to have the work ethic, you've got to be in that practice every day getting shit off, otherwise forget it. Beyond that, you've actually got to be savvy, you've got to be thinking about, okay, well, we do know, you can shoot a bit of a video here for me, get your mates to find out who you are, so he comes out, shoot a bit of a video, you've got to be thinking on that level. Before the internet, before you could be on the scene for about 2 years getting shit off doing gigs. Now you go out, there'll be somebody there with a camera captured you.
Yeah.
I think that could end up on the internet. And before you even fucking started, you're like, it's over, because people are like, oh yeah, so did you see them on the internet? Shit. So it's like vital that you've got to have that work ethic, get in the bracket, get the shit off before you even go out. But as I'm touching on, like, even promoters and agents and things like that, yeah, you've got to be a little bit savvy. Okay, well, if I want a gig, why should someone give me a gig? So get on the find out where the gigs are, find out who's promoting them. People like Ian was talking to me backstage, and he said, look, you know, we will give a band a chance. You know, even if we don't know them, obviously he's got to have something on SoundCloud or something, but and that's a way then to get seen by other people. So you've got to find out to get your foot in the door, and then you'll get seen by other people.
Growing up in Widnes, there was nothing for us to do, and that's a real cliche, but I remember coming to this venue at about age 13 for a musicians union collective, and I was 13, sat with a load of people who were about 20, and I went out with my head down. I didn't say a word, and I never came back. And all my mates and us, we used to hang around Farmouth Church at the weekend, and some of them were drinking cider. I didn't do that. But there was nothing, there was no scene, and you know, these things are crucial. If you take away the industry and all the whatever success you want to talk about, it's about community and people and friendships. And the best friendships I've got, all my best friends who've now emigrated, off one who lives in Cronton, we're all together through music. So I think, you know, council needs to get behind venues like this and put proper investment in, and businesses need to put investment in, because there are a load of kids out there now that aren't coming down tonight that need something to do. So we've gone down stories and getting that half a lager like Jane was doing. It was rubbish. You need a place to be creative where you can find friendships and partnerships and forget everything else. You know, that's the main thing about developing people.
Straight down track, I get the ground from my back, from back.
So I suppose when I was growing up, when I was at St Joseph's, one of the good things about Widnes at the time, because you were too young to obviously go to Liverpool or Manchester and see anything that was going on, is that there was quite a big live music scene in Widnes of local bands and bands that had come in from Liverpool and Manchester who would play at nights put on by local promoters at the Derby and at Players and at Stories, which is where I met you. So my kind of eagerness to become part of a band or to play live music and to believe that it would be possible was because I saw I would nick out with my friends when I was about 14 or 15 and go and see, get half a cider and go and see a local band, which was great. We were quite lucky, really. I think there was quite a big local music scene, which,
There was anyone around here then, in part of that? Is anyone in here who's the obvious ones, and here, there's some fresh young faces for most of it. I know you were here as well, Louisa, yeah. But it was a very exciting place.
It was exciting.
To be part of, really. You didn't really... I always remember Pete Bentham, who's another kind of godfather of the town, saying something like, why bands were so... I mean, there were some great bands coming out of Widnes at that time, and I think one of the reasons for it was because you weren't from Liverpool or you weren't from Manchester, you had to work a little bit harder at it, because you didn't feel like you had it on a plate.
I'd gone on from Widnes Sixth Form College and I'd gone on to Padgate Art College to do foundation in art, and then I was going to do a degree, go to Brighton, and then I got a record deal with an independent through Polydor, so my art career stopped in that way anyway. Yeah, it didn't last long, the bubble burst in enough when we started recording an album, and then unfortunately our A&R man got sacked from Polydor, and so the album we'd recorded just ended up being on the shelf. We couldn't release it, we couldn't afford to buy it back, all the money that had been spent, and we were only 20 or something, so it's quite sad really. Well, I was kind of heartbroken, but luckily I'd signed a record deal and at the same time signed a publishing deal, so financially for the first time in my life I had a lot of money. For a young person, aged 20, I did have quite a bit of money, but the money I had was fronting all the band activity, so it went really quickly.
Explain that, because I guess that was coming from the publishing, yeah?
So the publishing advance that we got, I think I got 22 grand, which is a lot of money.
What year was that?
So that was 1990 something. And
it was the early 90s, what, about 1990?
Yeah. And so obviously when you're using that for band activities such as recording and rehearsing, doing gigs, because there was no tour support, it just all literally went through my fingers. And everybody was saying, how have you got all this money and then it's all gone? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I can remember you living it up for a while.
Yeah, I had a brilliant time. There was a guy in Manchester called Rob Gretton who was part of the Hacienda and managed New Order, and he was starting a new label, and he came to see us at Band on the Wall, supporting a band called Marion, who were quite big at the time. And then he was, saying he was interested too, so we had a few options there. And then I met up with Rob and Pete from the label when we got back from America, and just decided that I really liked him. And because of all the untrust and, you know, because I've been dropped from a great height and the experience of working with major labels before and feeling so out of control as an artist and as a human being, I just decided that my gut instinct was to work with somebody again, you know, on an independent level, doing more stuff and getting played on Radio 1 and stuff. And we were recording an album, so we recorded an album, and then unfortunately just after that the band split up. As you do, because that's what happens with bands as well. So,
I mean, but explain that, because it does happen a lot. But why did it split up at that time? Everything seems to be going so well. Why split up?
I just kind of think we were a really hard-working band. We used to rehearse all the time. We used to slog our guts out, you know, doing gigs from Southampton up and down the country for not much money. And I think because I was the main songwriter, the other lads in the band were getting a bit pissed off, and they just thought, you know what, we'll do our own thing. So I knew they were getting a bit antsy about stuff. So one day I said, look, what do you want to do? Split up? And they went, yeah, actually we do.
So actually, it's interesting you hit on that, because one of the common reasons, besides, you know, musical differences, which is often cited, is also this kind of the hidden one is the publishing, really, isn't it? And I guess you own all the songs, so you were taking all the money from the actual publishing
from the publishing. But I was like, you know, I'd always been the primary songwriter, and when a few of the band had gone like, I've got a song too, I was a bit like, yeah, but this song's better. I was a bit mean, you know. But in hindsight, I was just like, you know, I just wanted to kind of do my songs. I wasn't that bothered at the time, but that's just when you know, when you're younger, you just kind of, you're on a one-track road, really. I released an album called Flown by Watchbird, which was like a concept album in 2010, and I started getting quite a bit of press from that, and yet I didn't have a band. It was quite I started doing more production in the studio, basically, more experimental stuff. And I decided that I didn't want to go on tour, I just wanted to release music. So I did that, and then that did alright, and then the follow-up to that was called The Silver Globe. And that was kind of a bit of a tipping point for me, because that album for me was a bit more of a breakthrough record.
Did that come as a big surprise? I mean, because Silver Globe, it shouldn't be a surprise, because you've always wrote amazing songs, but what was it? Because it was a real renaissance period for you, wasn't it? You know, it was a real breakthrough time again.
Well, this is the thing, you can't ever, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I write songs that are similar on every record I do.
Did you do anything different then, in terms of the marketing with it, in terms of the plugging with it, or anything?
Not really. It was just that I suppose that there was more of a strange concept about it, and maybe that in the press release and in the actual music of it, it was a lot more progressive and experimental. So I hit upon a different kind of market, a different kind of niche from I think that I was getting a bit stagnated with being like a singer-songwriter, and I think that the perception maybe of me being a singer-songwriter was a bit boring for me and other people.
Produced that album?
So I produced.
You produced
I produced everything, so, and still do. So that album for me, you know, was just like, I was getting like loads of positive press, and I was like, never had the amount of press. And then I started getting like gig offers from like Glastonbury and stuff like that, which I'd never had either. So it was like a really nice time, but then I was forced into the position of like, I need an agent, I need a manager, because I couldn't actually do the admin involved with everything. It just became too much for me as one person to do. I had to get a band together, you know, not moaning, it was good. You know, I think when I played the West Holts Glastonbury, that was a big moment for me, because I've never played, like, I've been to Glastonbury millions of times, but I've never played there, and it was on like a really big stage, and it was just like, you know, quite natural the way it happened. The promoter of that stage got in touch with me because he was a fan, and I got on the stage. I was so nervous, but I just said to myself, you know what, I've got to try and enjoy this. I've got to try and enjoy this moment rather than being absolutely wrecked with nerves. So it was lovely. It was a good experience. One of the main things I've always drawn back to is like, take no notice of the world outside, because there's just, as I say, there's so much going on and so many artists doing this, that and the other, and you feel you're in competition with this person, that person, and especially being a woman, there's like less places available for, you know, festival slots or, you know, radio placements or whatever. So you've just got to forget about all that and just concentrate about your world, your bubble, what you're doing, and that is the thing will carry you better than seeing what such and such over here, there and everywhere is doing. There's nothing wrong with being influenced by people and, you know, amazing music, but I think that you've just got to just put the work in, you know, do the work.
She stares at the phone as she sits all alone in her dressing gown. As she mourns to the day when I first looked her way, just a memory now. She's feeling the strain as she tightens the chains of her own self-doubt. But she doesn't even like you, Sarah. You miss just that look in his eye here. So she calls him once more, but it's like wiping the floor with her lonely heart. Cause the patterns are formed, no one won't take that call, just like in the start. Cause belonging is fine till it crosses a line and it does you harm. So here's to those souls who just sit by the phone as they wait for some happen to flow them apart. And it doesn't even like you, Sarah. You miss just that look in his eye. He doesn't even like you, Sarah. He's just one more wolf in disguise, 'cause I'm making a fool of yourself. The guitar up and bottom. Lord, please release me from this sense of falling, and help to guide me towards my little calling, yeah, and help to find the light. Yeah, this morning. tonight. So get out, yeah, get out, what a night. Moments in the air. So get out, yeah, that's it, yeah.
very much.